Today we're here at the world famous Busy Moto. All right, he's working on a Wagon. Okay, we've actually worked with him back in 2010. We were one of the first people he contacted for cable to hydro conversions. That's actually right when we started doing this. Here's the truth, guys. I've been doing this out of my garage for many years. It's only up until recently that I was actually able to afford a shop, quit my day job, and actually do this full time. So we've done that. We've made a lot of other products. Busy reached out for another project he's working on, which is all-wheel drive K-Series. This is brand new. All-wheel drive is sweeping the nation by storm, at least in our industry. And I'm very pleased to be able to work with him again on this project. We already met with him. We're getting ready to walk into the shop. We're going to set up our tools and our table, and we'll get a closer look at what we're going to be working on today. All right, we're working our way into the shop here. We're going to be working on his top secret project, which you guys aren't going to actually see this until it's revealed. But it's my pleasure to be able to work with him again on this, and it is a Wagon. So I've been working with the VTech Academy for a year now, and there was a platform that we were working on called the K-Series Lean Kit for the EFs. I'm the EF guy, so Brian thought it was a good idea for me to help work with him. Fortunately, my shop's right next door too, so we'll be able to just walk around and get to work. Well, we've been working on a rear bracket for that car, and I expressed to him that it needed to be, that we should make one also for the K24 transmission. You know, if you've seen my how to yard videos, I show you how cheap you can get the K-Series swaps for, but the transmissions are definitely one of the hardest things to find, especially when you're looking for a K20. But if we're getting a K24 transmission, those are plentiful. And if you want to swap right away and get on the road, boom, there you go. And it's relatively inexpensive. That being the case, we built a rear bracket for that. Just so happens that rear bracket that we designed fit almost perfectly with the K-Series all-wheel drive transmission. Some quick adjustments, we were able to have a K-Series rear bracket for the all-wheel drive transmission really quick, and Busy was one of the first people to actually get one. Let's check it out. Back there, you'll see the bracket. The lighting's really tough to see, and so maybe I'll get you a close-up of what this looks like once it's on, but here it is. We're going to K24 all-wheel drive Wagon. I believe why Busy contacted me is because this is actually what we do, and like I explained before, we put one of these conversions in his car almost 10 years ago, and it's, again, my pleasure to be able to work on the car. He did quite a bit of work already. A lot of the leg work is already done. The dash is out. You don't need to dash out on this particular project, but it certainly helps. The Wagons also need a different pedal assembly. So if you've seen us on the Boosted Boys, where we just installed one on their all-wheel drive Wagon, you'll see that I had to go to the junkyard, remove a pedal assembly out of a 89, a 91, Civic, or CRX, and I did just the same for Busy as well. Here's our pedal assembly that we grabbed from our local junkyard, and this is our kit. And what Busy's also getting is our new billet reservoir that comes with our conversion. And there it is. So this is how it would look like if you got the newest version. We got a billet reservoir, pretty sweet. We actually made those because we ran out of the plastic reservoirs that we were getting, and the manufacturer stopped making them, so we made this as a contingency, and it's pretty awesome. Because we are doing billet, then that means we could use any fitting that we wanted at the end, so then we changed to a nice, pretty AN. We finally got some DOT black hose approved for brake fluid, and of course our standard Wilwood master cylinder and our billet clevis that attaches directly to your pedal assembly. So let's get this started.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's the good stuff right there.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Was this a car from California?
It was. But I think it was parked on one of those trees or water fountains or some rubbish.
Okay, like in previous installs, it's all pretty much the same. You've seen, I have a lot of these videos out there, but we prepped our pedal assembly. We're taking out the neutral safety switch. Busy's going to be eliminating his neutral safety switch, which is this guy. If you remember, we actually ask you to remove this anyways because it doubles as a retainment bolt, and we found that these actually break under like heavy duty use. We're going to be using the brake pivot there, and then the clutch pivot, or we can call it a fulcrum if you will. You see we have like what we call a fulcrum mount that kind of helps brace the conversion together. And just take a real quick look. It just slides into place. It fits very well. Micah does a great job keeping the jig nice and tight. I get asked all the time when they get my conversions, and you know, it's really my fault. I'm getting much better. You got to understand, like, I'm the only one that works there. You know, I got contractors that work in various cities, but ultimately the website, answering the phones, packaging, shipping, R&D, that's all on me, and it's a lot of work. That's not an excuse, but that's my reasoning. So I get asked what these nuts are, all right? So these nuts come with the kit. These actually replace the nuts you're taking off the brake and the clutch side. So there's two 14mm nuts that you remove. Take those two off. You're gonna replace them with the lock nuts because, well, that's an area that gets moved a lot and it's doing things that it normally doesn't do, and so we wanna make sure that those stay in place. All right, the conversion's essentially on. We just need to tighten everything up. At this point, we can just snug it all. So we put the nuts and bolts on snug. And I'm sorry, we put the nuts and bolts on loose. And once everything's loose, then we can start tightening everything up because we want to make sure that everything aligns properly. And once we got it on there, go ahead and torque it down. All right, this might be actually the most critical adjustment here, and this is going to be our pedal stop. This is going to change where the engagement point is, and a lot of the times we find that it needs to be up as high as you can. As you can see, as it pushes down, it changes where the pedal will stop, okay, this way. All right, that's the compression stroke. Well, actually, it's a decompression stroke. See, this way towards the master, this way away from the master. Okay, so the more that this gets pushed in, the more that this pushes into the master, and that kind of reduces our stroke. All right, backing this out will maximize our stroke, ensuring complete disengagement. So really what our conversion does is it allows you to bolt a master cylinder directly to your pedal assembly. The idea is that it's non-fabrication part. Anyone can install this with a bag full of tools. That's essentially what we're doing here. Over the course of the history of our product, we've evolved, and now we're using the Wilwood master cylinder because it is the best feed and best pressure line out for this particular scenario. We were using like the EG or 9295 Civic clutch master cylinders because that's what we had laying around. We actually did it in our own project car, posted on Honda Tech, and the people wanted them. That's how we built them. Most people on Honda Tech at the time were do-it-yourselfers or shop owners. Once we branched out into a more consumer market, our customers are wondering why this doesn't fit very well. Well, when you're a do-it-yourself or a shop owner, you don't care, and at the time you could bang things and cut things around, you didn't really care much. But when we move out and people are trying to figure out how come this doesn't fit very well, that's when we decided to start using other components. From that, we've also developed our own clevis, our own billet reservoir, our own billet stay, a lot of other parts. We also make our own brake lines in-house. Okay, our conversion is completely installed on our bracket here. Now we got to go put it on the car. He's done a lot of work already, and so it's gonna mean it's gonna be pretty quick. But I did notice that the brakes were missing here. The brake master cylinder was missing here because of whatever he might be working on as far as the turbo. So maybe we don't do a full install. He said that he was going to be taking the car to paint, which means the booster's going to kind of have to come out anyways, which then means that's what holds the master cylinder, that's what holds the pedal assembly to the firewall. So I guess we're going to take a look at him. He's working on some other things right now. Like his name, he's plenty busy. Looks like he's got a well-engineered charge pipe here for his pretty cool top-mount turbo manifold. I'm curious to know why a lot of guys aren't doing top-mount K-series. That is really cool. Oh man, look at that flange. Oh my goodness. That is rad. You guys are going to be totally stoked when you guys see that. Okay, so our conversion is going to come, we usually use this spot right here. We want to drill right into the center of that. So to do that, I think we're going to move this charge pipe out of the way so we can get our drill in there. Now, your OEM brake lines usually run right around that same area, so if you're going to be drilling from the inside, make sure that you can move those lines out of the way. Sometimes when there's a B-series engine in there, D-series, whatever it might be, it's kind of hard to get from the inside of the engine bay. Fortunately for us, it's going to be pretty easy for us to get. The reason we're drilling the hole is because our line kit comes in two pieces. All right, we're gonna have a bulkhead fitting that goes right through the firewall. Happens to be 3/8. Drill your hole 3/8. This fitting will go right through. Take the two apart. There's gonna be a hose on the outside and then there's a hose on the inside. The hose on the inside goes to the master cylinder, and that's gonna be attached to a banjo fitting. And then the hose that comes at the outside, in this case, we made with a 90-degree end, and it's gonna go straight into our K-series slave cylinder. think that came out pretty good. With the windshield out, it certainly makes things much easier. And it comes through the firewall right here. I used a hole saw to kind of drill a hole through the sound ending material there. I don't think that we actually need to tighten this one up because they're going to be taking it apart for paint, but it'll give them a good idea where everything needs to be. So I think what we're going to do is just string our hoses out to the slave cylinder so you can see how they get installed, and kind of set up the pedal assembly up into the back side of the firewall so they can see how that works too. Alright, so our hydraulic lines ran through the firewall, through the bulkhead, kind of wrapping around here, and then we added this 90-degree bend here. Okay, so moving on, we're going to put the pedals inside the chassis. It looks like they already got it caged. They must be planning to go very fast. And this, most of his cars do make plenty of horsepower. Now this is its current state. Like many of his builds, it's probably going to look beautiful. Digging it pretty well. Okay, so our pedals are out, and so what we're going to do is just kind of set it up in there. So we got the pedals in, and I went to go run the reservoir through the firewall, and it looks like, I didn't know, but this was an automatic car. You could see that this was, the cable was, the cable hole was plugged. That's where our reservoir hose is gonna go through. There it went, but it's out. Check it out. Now we got a hole that our reservoir hose is gonna go right through. Even though he had a wagon, he was gonna need a pedal assembly anyways because it was an automatic car. And if you didn't know, the 5-speed pedal assemblies will bolt directly in place of an automatic pedal assembly in these cars. We're gonna move on to our reservoir, which is pretty cool, like I showed you earlier. All right, so our hose is gonna go through the hole in the firewall, and that's going to get directed straight through the master on the opposite side. This hose is long, so you're going to trim it to fit. With the hose ran through the hole, now we're going to mount the reservoir. Some chassis have like a factory hole here for you to use. Some don't. In this case we don't, so we're going to be drilling our own hole. This is what we're going to keep in mind when drilling. Okay, so now that we have this fitting here, we also have the shock. We also have the upper control arm nut here. It looks like they're going to be right in line. So when drilling your hole, offset it just enough to where it clears all that. You can see here. Oh man, that looks nice. This little billet part here, and fitting, and we're clearing the control arm nut, and it feeds right through right into the master cylinder, which is on the opposite side. You want to wait to trim the hose that comes there. It's like it's long. So once you have the pedal assembly up, then you'll trim to fit. Like, the EFs is pretty difficult to work with because there's 4 different chassis within just the EF platform. That's the CRX, the hatchback, the sedan, and the wagon. And just so happens, all of them are slightly different in their own ways. There might be some massaging you have to do in the area to get things to fit perfectly, and the reasons why is what I just explained. So I had to make some room with a ball peen hammer for the reservoir feed nozzle. Now that's taken care of, we're gonna go ahead and install our banjo fitting here, and it's going to go over to our firewall fitting that we made a kind of hole for. Alright, the line's installed. We use a banjo because it's 360-degree clocking that allows us to point the line any direction that we need. In this case, it's kind of important that it faces this direction so that it feeds right to our firewall. So nice. I really like the evolution of the conversion over the years, and this is essentially the complete install. This does kind of consume the same areas of fresh air duct and your the driver's side fresh air ducting. You can't use that, but because race car, so it looks like the line fits really well with the charge pipe that he's got going on here. It looks really clean and pretty clear. Doesn't look like we're gonna have any issues there. It looks really good. I'm really excited with how this is turning out, and I'm sure he's gonna be just as excited. Yeah, okay. I think it worked out. Okay.
Yeah, no need for that because I don't have a cable anymore.
Yep.
And then, ooh, nice, very nice.
Yeah, and it seems like it clears everything. Of course, if you have any issues, I make these hoses so I can just make another one if I need to. You know? So, but that's pretty much the standard kit there. And
okay. Wow, that's clean, sir.
yeah, it's gotten better over the years.
Very clean.
All right, finished our install here with Busy. I'm really excited to be able to work with him again. And you took a look at it, and it seemed like you liked it.
Yes, not only do I like it, I love it. It's a huge improvement from the earlier design. I know years ago you helped me with the original Wagon.
Yeah.
And this is absolutely beautiful. Not only is the quality absolutely superb, it looks like something that worked extremely well in allowing me to safely get from point A to point B, whether it's on the street or the track. So, pretty excited to see what's going to happen. By all means,
yeah,
check it out in the booth, in the SEMA booth, K&N AM induction booth. Should be a blast. I wish you have a good time.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
My pleasure.
Hey guys, it's been a couple of weeks since we installed the conversion on Busy's car. It's being featured here for the first time here at SEMA. We literally just got in town and we're about to walk through the doors. He's getting ready to go live at 12. I believe we got like 3 minutes before we miss his live Instagram debut. We haven't seen the car also since we installed the conversion, so let's go check out what it looks like. All right, so now we're trying to track down Busy where he's at, and we're using a Instagram live feed as kind of, I already see the Holly booth over there, so that means we're really close. This might be our only opportunity to talk with him while he's here, so we're gonna, me and my wife Christina, we're gonna go, she's gonna get to meet Busy for the first time, and we're gonna get some video footage for you guys out there, because we're not sure if we're gonna see him again later, so we're gonna take this opportunity now to get this done. There it is, there, he's live right now. All right, we found him. He's still going live right now, so they probably got people blocking off so they don't come bother him. So let's check it out.
What's the suspension stuff on the Wagon van? Arms, roll bars, and coilovers. Okay, so great question. The rear, because it's a Wagon, doesn't have any roll bars. The front is factory issue.
Cool. Busy's really busy right now, and he's on his Instagram live feed, but it's really cool to see the Wagon for the first time. This is very similar to a Wagon that he had a couple of years ago. It was like his most popular platform, according to him, and he's really excited to bring out a Wagon again to the industry, but this one's extra special. Now, this one is K-Series, but what's special about this one, it's also all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is taking the industry by storm, and I'm glad that he's jumped on that as well. It's turbocharged. Also, he expects this to be his most popular chassis that he's built to date, and I'm very honored and pleased to be a part of that.
Now, I don't know if you heard what I shared earlier on about his wear. So, what he did, which is really clever, is I run a keyless clutch, which I have to limit the throttle through. Well, in his kit, it's already built in stops for up and down. So because of you, I didn't have to put an additional stop. So the kit already has it, and it is so good. Okay, so thank you so much. We'll talk. Sounds good. So here is the engine bay, once again.
So at least I got on his Instagram feed. You saw a small little section that we got in there with him. I wanted to get an interview, but Busy is very busy, and he says I'm busy like my name. That's his thing. And so he had to go off to another interview. He's got several cars in the event. But if you got to see the Wagon, it is absolutely gorgeous. I love to find out a little bit more about it. I think I missed his actual live interview because I wanted to actually get an interview with him, so I wasn't spending a whole lot of time actually listening, because I was waiting for my chance to be able to get to talk to him. But I didn't get to, so I'll get a little bit more information. Maybe I might be able to add that in the video later when this actually gets edited. So I'm just going to go over the car a little bit more so you can see a little bit closer.
This is a sequential gearbox. Looks like they had to move something because the back half of it wasn't installed when I was there. So it looks like they moved the line. We put a 90-degree fitting here on the slave cylinder, but it looks like they changed it and reclimped it, which is understandable. Or maybe they flipped it upside down. Hold on. Oh, that's what they did. They just turned it around. So they went 90 out of the firewall there, and then they put the straight fitting here with the banjo. Very creative. That's cool. I can appreciate that. I'm really liking it. I didn't quite catch how much horsepower he said he was making, but I'm sure it's going to be up there. But he also wants it to perform well, so we're looking forward to that. Oh man, dude, this car was not as nice as it was, or as it is right now. This looks absolutely amazing. And look, we got the 5-lug conversion also. what kind of rear end does he have back there? I'll be excited to hear. Check out the mud flaps.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the channel. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to check out our website at hushperformance.com. Make sure to check out our sister channel at VTech Academy. Make sure to check out the website at vtechacademy.com. And like always, happy tuning.